Hey guys, it's Andrea from the blog Pine and Prospect Home, and today I want to talk about our hidden refrigerator tutorial. This was a DIY project, and while we weren't able to hide the entire fridge, we were able to hide the side and sort of make it look built into our cabinets. And since I had so many questions and emails about this project, I thought I would just do a blog post on it and share a step-by-step tutorial for you guys. You'll have to forgive me for not standing over next to the fridge while I film this. It is sort of a dark, gloomy day, so I'm right in front of my kitchen window trying to grab as much light as I possibly can. We have a galley style kitchen, and it tends to be the darkest part of our house. So yeah, I'm just gonna stand over here in front of our beautiful hood beam instead. But first off, let me just talk about the materials we used. So for this project, we actually used the same paneling that we put on our dishwasher. So if you've been following for a while, you know that last year we hid our dishwasher. Clearly I'm a fan of hiding appliances. I love that vintage feel of a kitchen. So if I can sort of, make my appliances blend into the cabinets, or hide them to make them look like furniture, then I am all about it. So we hid our dishwasher last year using some tongue and groove paneling. Unfortunately, we got this at a local lumber yard. Excuse me, that's a tongue twister. Local lumber yard. I couldn't find an exact match for the product online, but I did find something similar that I will link for you guys in the blog post. But you could really use any type of paneling for this project. You could even use beadboard for this project. That would be beautiful. But we had this tongue and groove paneling, and we wanted to use what we had. We're very frugal like that, and since it would sort of match the feel of the dishwasher, that's what we went with. But the very first thing that my husband did was create a nailer on top of the fridge with a 2x4. He just notched it out to sort of fit in on top of the hinge that's on the refrigerator door. And I'm gonna share some photos of this process for you guys so you can get a better visual. He glued that nailer down with a silicone adhesive, and we used some weights to sit on top of the wood to really add and apply pressure to those boards. And once that silicone was dry, he went to work gluing the paneling together. So he cut all of his boards to length and to the correct width, of course, glued them all together with wood glue, and then once everything was dry, he picked up that entire panel, put silicone adhesive all over it, and pressed it against the side of the fridge. So there are some details here that I want to talk about. Of course, that nailer at the top was perfect. He was able to use his brad nailer to nail the boards into the side of that wood. But for the rest of the fridge, he wanted to apply pressure to those panels without having to stand there for 24 hours leaning against it. So he ran to the garage and got some boards that were long enough to wedge in between our kitchen sink and the refrigerator. He even also drilled some boards at an angle so that there was a lot of pressure leaning against this paneling, and so that the adhesive would really have an opportunity to stick to the fridge. And you can see in these photos all of his little contraptions that he came up with to really apply that pressure to the wood. So obviously every kitchen is different. We have this long galley kitchen. Maybe you have something different to where you could wedge something up against whatever you decide to adhere on the side of your fridge. But this is just what we chose to do. Of course, once that adhesive was dry, I wanted some sort of detail trim around the top of the fridge. So he created yet another nailer on top of the fridge, again with 2x4s, except for this time, instead of laying them flat, he laid them vertically and made sure to nail them to the existing 2x4s that were laying flat on top of the fridge. But he nailed them so that they were flush with the paneling that we had already applied to the fridge. So the reason for doing that is because I wanted my crown molding that we really just created with more paneling to sort of bump out and stick out from the rest of the fridge. So I hope that all makes sense. But once he put that nailer up, he then took a horizontal piece of that same tongue and groove paneling and nailed it to the 2x4. So hopefully all these photos that I'm showing you make sense and you can kind of see how we did that. But once that horizontal piece was nailed into place, I wanted a little bit more detail. So we went and grabbed some cove molding, is what it's called. And of course he mitered the edges and added that to the very top of the fridge as well. And I think that's really what makes it look so finished and custom and beautiful. I love the way it looks. Of course, in this photo, you can see that the paneling wasn't quite long enough to go from the top of the fridge all the way down to the floor. So he did have to add a few more pieces the same way that he did before, applying pressure with different pieces of wood after putting the silicone adhesive on the boards. But once it was all dry, we simply filled any nail holes with some wood filler and we caulked anything that needed to be caulked. I really wanted the beams to sort of be the star here. Even the basket above the fridge is so beautiful to me. I love the basket with the soft florals against the stone. And I didn't want the refrigerator to distract from all of that. So I chose to paint it out with the same trim color that we used on the windows, the baseboards, and that is Revere Pewter by Benjamin Moore. It's a beautiful warm gray. And I knew right when I painted it that I had made the right decision. I love the beautiful warm gray color against my white cabinets and black countertops. I think, you know, looking at the before and after of our fridge and seeing that gray plastic on the side, I really can't believe I waited so long to do this. It wasn't the easiest project necessarily. It was tricky and it took some thinking and some ingenuity for sure, but it was simple enough to where my husband and I could not believe what a dramatic difference it made in our kitchen. I just can't believe seeing the before and after, how beautiful this area of my kitchen is now that the refrigerator is hidden. So I hope that all of those steps make sense to you guys. We did add another little horizontal piece at the base of the fridge to act sort of as like, you know, your baseboard. I think I just about covered everything. If I left anything out, please leave me a comment below and I'll do my best to try to answer. But I really think, you know, you can purchase panel ready refrigerators, but they are expensive. It can be tricky. I've seen people run into issues with them and having the cabinetry line up correctly. So this is definitely a simple DIY that can save you a lot of money and still give you that custom look that you're kind of going for. We really love the way ours turned out, and honestly, if we ever do get a new refrigerator in the future, I would probably want to do the same thing. I love the way that looks. That wooden paneling on the side there is so beautiful to me. So again, please let me know if you have any questions about this. You can watch the entire kitchen refresh video. I posted it last week where I talk about lots of different things, including our new/old reclaimed beams from a local barn and how we incorporated those. And of course, the new paint color. All of the details are on my blog if you have any questions about the kitchen itself. I spend most of my time in this kitchen. Most of my days are spent right here in this space. It's the heart of our home, and making it a place of not only function but of beauty as well is just, it's special to me and it's important. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you are new to my channel, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.